Hello, Zalto Live listeners. Before we get started, we wanted to let you know that more teachings from Zen monk Claude AnShin Thomas are available in his two books, At Hell's Gate, A Soldier's Journey from War to Peace, and Bringing Meditation to Life, 108 Teachings on the Path of Zen Practice. Both are available wherever books are sold, and all proceeds go to the Zalto Foundation, dedicated to promoting nonviolence, awareness, and positive change.
Hello and welcome to Zalto Live, the podcast featuring Zen Buddhist monk Claude AnShin Thomas, who will share with you his life experiences that includes not only military combat, personal violence, and addiction, but also healing, transformation, and the ongoing joy of everyday life. Please enjoy listening.
Because there are a few people relatively new, and for those of you who have been here for a while, we're going to go over a few basic instructions or ground rules for this practice. So there's no cross-talking in the chat box. There's no commenting in there. Make sure that your microphones are muted. If you have a question, just raise your hand, and I will acknowledge you in turn. Keep your questions short and to the point. I think it's enough for now. I had two questions that were mailed in. They're still up in the printer. Got to bring them down. I basically remember one of them. The question was, is it necessary when sitting to be barefooted? No. However, I am mostly. Even when I'm on pilgrimage or outside, I always take off my shoes. Basically, it's just because I do. In the meditation hall, no shoes, no socks. It was odd because I facilitated a retreat in Frankfurt. And in the particular hall that they give us, this also set up for meditation, or what they call meditation. They don't want you to come in there barefooted. They don't want the oil from your feet affecting the floors. The first couple of times that I facilitated a retreat there, I was moderately defiant about that request. But I've surrendered. Simply followed instructions. But I must admit, it is odd. Because in the tradition I'm ordained, there are no shoes. Regarding one's individual practice, they're sitting, there's no fixed rule about that. Not that I'm aware of. Although I could make one. I'm not so inclined right now. The other question that was part of that, I can't remember it. Oh yeah, go ahead, you can read it.
Okay, I sit in the dark prior to bed. Does the amount of light matter?
No, as long as you're sitting and not sleeping. That is a temptation. Yeah, when I first started an active sitting practice, it was before I was introduced to Buddhist practice. And I was actually attempting to work in a regular way. So I would go to work, and then I would sit in the closet, the door closed. Yeah. On one occasion, one of the workers came to the closet for something, found me sitting there. He didn't quite know what to do with that. So, yeah, sitting in the dark, fall asleep. Question from the group. Yes, Nyoko.
AnShin, how's it been with you working with your own restless energy from early days to now?
Generally, I'm just much less restless. Generally. Not exclusively. That can come on me, restless energy. But I recognize it today when it comes on. In the past, it has happened. That either Kenshin or some people around me simply said to me, AnShin, you're going a little bit fast, aren't you? And I've gone, oh, okay. It's just to pay attention. That hasn't happened in a while. I recognize it when it's coming or when it's present. And it doesn't sort of overtake me. Question from the group. Attention.
And so would you say your experience with also having leadership, that it goes along with some form of sacrifice?
Yes. But not in a negative sense of sacrifice. One of the ways in which that sacrifice manifests itself is through my conscious awareness of the importance of commitment. An example, while I'm traveling, especially here, when I'm in Europe, that we continue the schedule at the Magnolia Zen Center. So we facilitate a period of formal practice, sitting in recitations on Thursday. It's at 6 p.m. It makes it 1 a.m. here. Also tonight, I have a group of veterans. I meet with a group of veterans. Also, that's hosted at 6 p.m. in Florida. It's 1 a.m. here. It's a sacrifice, but not in a negative way. It's a privilege that has been laid on my plate and that I willingly accept. It's important to honor those commitments. Nothing comes in front of practice. Nothing. Question from the group. Yes, again.
Anshin, my question is also about restless energy. Sometimes I find it so difficult to sit for 20 minutes. Do you have a recommendation? Sitting shorter probably is not an option, is it?
Well, if you have a question, it's best not to answer it. One has to decide for themselves. Whether I want to sit or not, I sit. Right now, I'm doing a ceremony for the dead. It is a privilege to be able to do that. Privilege to be able to sit, and it's really important to me. And I value the substance of commitment. Yes, when I make a commitment, the only value that I really have is my word. If I say I'm going to do a thing, I do it. If something gets in the way, like even when the tip of my finger was amputated, I didn't miss a commitment. And when I remember visiting my son 2 years ago, when I came back, I was really sick. I got really sick. Gift from my granddaughter, and I didn't miss a commitment. Take care of myself and honor the commitment. That's what it is for me. That's the essence of practice. That's the essence of being in a position of leadership, and how I value that trusted position. Each person has to find their way. But if their way isn't really supporting them or isn't really working, then they need to be doing something different. Question from the group. Yo, Peter.
Anshin, sometimes when I sit, I can only stay with the essential point maybe 1% of the time. Is the 99% of the time that I'm distracted, is that a waste of time?
Well, actually, I'd say no, because you're distracted. You can always bring yourself back to the point. Yes, there are times when I can't manage 1%. Yeah, so, but I keep bringing myself back. When I realize I've gotten trapped in a thought stream, it's one of those, it's an awakening moment. You go, okay, and bring myself back to my breath. And that is a question from the group. Teachin.
Has there been a point, Anshin, when you do not get distracted from the essential point throughout your full period of sitting?
Yes, there have been. Not always, but they have been. And it happens more frequently. Yeah. Okay, question from the group. Yes. Leah.
I have a question regarding breathing. My breath is often quite restless, the breathing itself. And very often my heartbeat is starting to get quicker. And I try to get this into a more even pattern, but that then becomes stressful.
It could have to do with your idea of an even pattern, the failure of acceptance. That confusion may come with the effort to control the process. Yes, I would say just be present with the process. Don't reject it and notice it. Don't try to control it. See what happens. Sit, just to sit. Yes, I was sitting with a severe bronchitis, sitting with a really stuffy head cold. When I had the cough, I coughed. And I couldn't breathe really easily. I just stayed with the process. And when I had the red by those that's really full, I feel like I had snot running down my cheek, my lip here. No, I didn't do that. I would just blow my nose. Yeah, but it was hard to breathe through my nose. I did as best I could. Just stay with the process. Question from the group. Yes, Peter.
When you have a period of sitting where you don't get distracted for the whole period, after that period, do you say to yourself, great job?
Sometimes, but generally not. Sometimes I just go, oh, wow. Sometimes. Generally not. Yeah, because I don't strive to do that as an accomplishment. It's just a part of the natural evolution of what I'm doing. Still, there may have been times in the second bell when I heard the second and the two bells marking the movement from sitting to the next form of practice. I brought my attention back into the space and in my mind, yes. I don't do that too often. Question from the group. Yes, Gabi.
How did you spend your birthday?
Did I have a birthday? Quietly. Yeah, I get up in the morning, made my bed like I never slept in it, sat for 5 minutes. Might have been 8. Did some recitations. Went out into the kitchen and fixed a cup of tea and some toast. I had a half of a toasted Kerneka. And then some people had given me some gifts. Yeah, I took the new Maserati for a spin. Thanks for whoever gave me that. I would have preferred red with black interior. So there were some cards and some really nice gifts. Very simple but very touching to me. Myosen came up from Bielefeld, spent the day, and Genrai Myosen and I went for a walk, visited a cafe, came back to the house, watched some Netflix. Then birthday. Oh yes. Then I did for my evening sitting. I actually I co-facilitated the Thursday sitting with Kenshin. So it was a very relaxed, quiet day. But for all the people who remembered my birthday, I made a great effort to really thank them. It's really very nice to be remembered in the ways in which I was. And some people remembered that I haven't had contact with for a while. That was also very nice. Always brings me back to the recitation that we do Saturday. Okay, or the recitation we do on Saturday. Yes, brings me always back to that. Question from the group. Yes, Peter.
You have said that if you think you're enlightened, then you're not. Is it possible to know when one is enlightened?
I've said a number of things around enlightenment, and you're absolutely correct. I say that regularly. What we have to be cautious about is the idea of enlightenment. Therefore, if I think I'm enlightened, I'm not. Because I have created some idea of what that means. There's a lot of myth surrounding the notion of enlightenment. It is some sort of transcendent state. It makes me superior or above everyone else. And that's just cow diarrhea. Yes. We all have these experiences. From what I understand about enlightenment is that it's not a fixed point, not static, and it's revealing itself to us at different points in times in different ways. And it's not actually the point of practice. It's one byproduct as we move into a more conscious awareness of the coexistence of relative and absolute. I will often give an example like the following. We've all, I don't know, I shouldn't say that. Many of us have probably had an experience when we're engaged talking with someone. There's that still small voice. It says, yeah, you better not say that. We ignore it, we say it, and then we go, oh, I should have listened. That still small voice. But through my study, I've understood that as an aspect of our enlightened nature. Question from the group. Yes, Teachin.
This is in relation to your last question. My question is, do you feel a difference when you do listen to that small voice?
Yes, I do. And there's a difference between that still small voice and the idea of it. And I learn more and more to trust in the process of existence rather than the idea of it. Yeah, for the most part, to let go of attempting to get life to conform to my ideas of it, and have been more willing to participate in the process of existence. I am by no means passive in this process. I don't drive it. Question from the group. Yes. Leah.
Okay, very often you emphasize how important it is to make your bed very accurately. And for me, I immediately have associations, military associations with that. Why is that aspect, or why do you emphasize this part so much?
I don't emphasize it so much. I just emphasize it. I don't emphasize it any more than sitting. I mean, if you want to do it, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. But what I understand about, life can get very cluttered. All of my ideas of things make life very cluttered. This process of practice, we can't do whatever we want. I mean, we can, but then nada cambia. Nothing changes. So this is just, I think this is an opportunity. If this doesn't happen with just you, a number of people have this reaction when I talk about discipline, how important discipline is. But it's the way the mind can manifest resistance to the thing that threatens its reign. Mind is not the ruler, and it thinks it's the ruler. Mind wants to drive the agenda. Mind wants to convince us that our view of the world is absolute. And anything that challenges that is seen as a threat. Therefore, resistance enters into the picture. So it's just a really simple, straightforward way of starting the day. Now, I don't use the word precise. Simply say, you make your bed like you never slept in. I don't know whatever that means to you. Cluttered bed, cluttered mind. It can also be seen that way. Our outsides often reflect our insides. That's why discipline for me is not rigid conforming to rules. It's the embracing of guidance. Sitting just to sit. Doing that in a very disciplined way. Last question. Yes, Ivan.
How do you teach that commitment to children?
By understanding that I cannot teach anything. I must embody the reality that I want to. I must embody that reality on my own, because who I am speaks more loudly than what I say. Those children, they see that stuff, man. Yeah, so it's about my commitment, and the children see that.
Thank you for listening to this episode on Zalto Live. If you would like additional information, please look at the show notes or visit zalto.org. That's ZALTHO.org. Our work is made possible solely through donations, so please consider making a tax-deductible gift on our website. We wish you well and thank you.